You're watching the best. Fox 10 News at 6 starts now.
Tonight at 6, people forced to flee their homes in a southern Arizona community as firefighters battle a growing wildfire. The latest tonight from the front lines. A Tesla Cybertruck is torched at a dealership in the East Valley, and one man is in custody facing federal charges. New reaction tonight to the speedboat crash on Lake Havasu going viral. What the team behind the boat is saying tonight that might surprise you. Plus this.
A DEA raid finds more than 100 alleged illegal immigrants at an underground nightclub. I'm Caroline Shiva in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
Well, first tonight at 6 o'clock, evacuations in southern Arizona tonight because of a fast-moving wildfire. Dozens of firefighters are on the front lines trying to get the flames under control. This is called the Stronghold Fire. It broke out earlier today northeast of Wilcox in Cochise County. The flames have charred at least 2,000 acres so far. Deputies are telling people living west of Cochise Stronghold and south of Ironwood Roads in Sunsites to leave their homes. Air tankers are helping ground crews, including the Globe hotshots, deployed to the scene. And meteorologist Erica Horvatine is tracking the weather conditions for us tonight. Erica, are those winds still around, making things worse?
You know, they have been pretty breezy throughout the day in that area, and it doesn't help that it's right along a small mountain range, so that can really affect those winds as well, causing them to be more variable in the area. But I wanted to show you this satellite imagery and the loop of this. As we went through the day today, you could see how in that circle, the smoke from that fire just continued to billow more and more, moving to that northeasterly direction. At this time, though, the wind is now shifted and it's actually coming in more so from the northwest direction. And this has the ability to send that fire to the east, which is where there are some neighborhoods and some homes. So you can see how this is kind of perched along a wash within the mountain range, and then it extends eastward where there have been more and more sparks over the past few hours, and the fire has really been able to grow because of those breezes, and it's now currently 2,000 acres, pretty much coming up right onto Cochise Road at this point. So earlier today, those winds were at 23 miles per hour. Currently, they're at 15 miles per hour, so a tiny bit better. It looks like those winds are going to pick up to around 20 miles per hour from the northwest again tomorrow. So tomorrow, another day that will be critical in fighting the fire, but those winds should lighten up a bit more by Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Erica. A man is facing federal charges tonight, accused of torching a Cybertruck at a Tesla dealership in Mesa. 35-year-old Ian Moses is accused of burning the new truck near Southern Avenue and Sauceman Road. It happened just before 2 a.m. Police say several people reported hearing an explosion and seeing smoke and flames. And when officers arrived, they say they saw Moses riding off on a bike, but were able to catch him and match evidence at the scene. He faces one arson charge so far. No word on a possible motive. Now we want to head back to Lake Havasu for more on this crazy speedboat crash. We first told you about it on Saturday right after it happened. The boat was trying to set a record, but instead went airborne at more than 200 miles an hour. Tonight we hear from the team behind the boat and why they say the crash ended up being a good thing. Ashley Rodriguez has more.
Well, the best part is the two drivers got out of the boat alive, and they ended up winning the race. They donated the prize money to charity, but don't let all the optimism fool you. To witness that crash was absolutely terrifying.
It made an explosion sound that I can't even describe it to you, other than it sounded like a bomb went off.
Reaction to the 200-mile-per-hour speedboat crash on Friday at the Desert Storm race at Lake Havasu was utter shock. But Scott Nolan was on the water.
This boat was coming down the course very, very fast.
He was in his pontoon when it happened.
It was just the scariest thing as a boater that I've witnessed. I thought there would be no possible way that would be a survivable accident, but from what I'm hearing, they hit the water upside down at 165.
The drivers, who wished to remain anonymous, survived, walking away with a broken collarbone, couple broken ribs, and a fractured knee.
You know, that's just how we park that thing sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. Might have been upside down and backwards across the finish line, but we did win the event.
Freedom One Racing is thankful its drivers emerged from the beat-up boat still breathing. And while some spectators say it was irresponsible, that the wind could have carried the boat into the crowds.
It's bad for the industry to have things like this happen because it just brings a downer on everything that's going on. All these people come here for a great time. Nobody wants to see a boat accident.
The video would soon go viral over the weekend, bringing attention to their 501c3 nonprofit that raises money for a variety of charities, including St. Jude's and Wounded Warriors. They went home with the prize, donating $20,000 to good causes.
The fact that it went as viral as it did really just helps us, set in stone that we're on a good mission. We're doing the right thing. There's a reason those drivers survived, and I think it's to keep going, keep moving forward, and keep raising money for charity.
The specialized speedboat went from 40 miles per hour to 200, which is insanely fast. Now, on Lake Havasu, at the end of the racetrack, there's a cove, and that's where wind comes up from the south. And once wind gets under that hull, all it takes is a split second. There's nothing you can do about it. Freedom One Racing says there's always a risk to racing, but it's worth it. And if you would like to help donate to the charities, just click on this story on fox10phoenix.com. In Phoenix, Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 10 News.
Well, one teenager is dead, another behind bars after a shooting outside a pizza place in West Phoenix. Police say 18-year-old Ruben Ruiz Jr. opened fire last Tuesday near 35th Avenue in Van Buren, killing 18-year-old Jose Castillo. Officers say Castillo got into an argument with a group of people after he left a Little Caesars. Police say he fired shots into the ground and then got into an SUV. Then they say Ruiz shot Castillo, hitting him in the head and shoulder. Ruiz is facing charges of second-degree murder. In the border battle tonight, the White House is displaying posters with mugshots of alleged migrant criminals arrested by ICE agents. And the mugshots are now lining the driveway of the presidential home. They show 100 people and the charges they're facing. The White House considers these suspects some of the worst offenders recently arrested by immigration officials. And the posters are in place ahead of President Trump's first 100 days in office. One of the pictures is of a man arrested in Phoenix, 26-year-old Luis Angel Torres Lopez. The White House says he's wanted for murder in Mexico, his home country. Fox's Caroline Shively has more on deportations across the country.
Several major developments in the administration's fight against illegal immigration. The Drug Enforcement Administration says a weekend raid in Colorado found over 100 illegal immigrants at an underground nightclub.
What was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there.
President Trump's border czar also facing questions Monday about 3 American children who were removed from the U.S. along with their mothers who are illegal immigrants. One of the children is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer who was sent to Honduras without medication.
What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision, parenting 101.
A Fox poll out Thursday finds that 55% of Americans approve of Trump's performance on border security, while 47% approve of his handling of immigration overall, and 45% are in favor of his deportation of illegal immigrants. Although a number of other polls show his approval ratings on immigration dropping in recent weeks.
The more the American people know, the less they're going to like what Trump does.
At Monday's White House briefing, Homan also addressed the drop in the number of gotaways at the border. Under Biden, he said the daily average was more than 1,800, while on Sunday it was down to 38. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Up next, gold prices are going crazy, so what are your prospects of becoming a prospector? We go digging for answers. And later, why hundreds of golf balls are flying out of a helicopter. We take you to a valley golf course to find out.